Welcome to Experts Explain Trauma. Today we've got Dr. Tammy joining us, and we're going to be talking about the messy middle of healing, and she's going to give us some great tips on how to manage ourselves in the messy middle of healing. So let's get started. Okay, Dr. Tammy, why do I feel worse now than when I wasn't even trying to heal?
Yeah, I love that.
I know, I did too.
Yeah. I love that question because um consciousness. That's the job of consciousness. The knowing. If you focus on whatever it is you notice becomes magnified. So if you close your eyes and you sort of kind of focus your attention on the sensation in your mouth, you might start to notice what's happening, like your saliva more like, oh, like this, nothing's changed. You're just noticing. Increased awareness magnifies things. And so if it's magnifying pain, it's going to be, you're going to feel the pain more. That's what awareness does. If you sort of kind of hold your hand out and, you start to notice the trembles were there before, but you just started to notice it. And it's the story that you tell about the trembles. Oh my God, my hand is trembling. That's a bad thing. That's going to escalate it. But if you sort of just say, oh, okay, the trembling's been there before, it's no big deal. But if you sort of start to tell story, this is really bad, that's really bad. So watch the stories that you're telling about getting to know yourself. But whatever it is, when you start to bring consciousness into something, you're going to notice it more. It becomes magnified. And with trauma, you just sort of start to see patterns and you see and it can be like, oh my God, this is a lot, but it's been there before. It's just awareness. That's the nature of awareness. But be mindful of the stories that you're telling about that, because the stories you tell about it can make it worse. Yeah, it's the narrative that we have around what we're noticing. So we have to be, again, you have to read that question again to me so that I can sort of kind of contextualize it.
So it's why do I feel worse now than
Yeah.
when I wasn't even trying to heal?
Yeah. When you weren't trying to heal, you weren't noticing anything. You
Yeah,
were just
yeah.
trying to survive. Now you're trying to heal. You have a goal. You want to feel better, right? You're going to have to sort of fix or sort of kind of work through things. And, you know, um, it's like a journey. And, when you're running a marathon, the moment you start to notice, like we spot people when they're losing, the pain feels worse. When they're winning, the pain does not feel worse. It's the same
That's
pain.
true.
So when you see, oh my God, then like, you go to your first treatment session and then you start to sort of kind of like your assessment session and you're talking about this and you're talking about that, you're talking about, oh my God, that's a lot. And you feel overwhelmed. So you feel it more. It's the nature of awareness.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is like back in the day, I would just focus
Mm-hmm.
on one thing, and so
Yeah.
it's almost like having blinders on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see the whole picture,
Yeah.
but
No.
as I began to heal
Yeah.
and had more self-awareness, it
Mm-hmm.
expanded and it
Yeah.
allowed me to
Yeah.
see more.
You're gonna see more.
Mm-hmm.
And you're meant to see more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of kind of like, if you tell yourself, I'm meant to see all of this, I'm meant to sort of meet part of myself, all of myself. If you meet
Right.
it with curiosity, because it's not a race,
Yeah, it's not a
right?
race you're gonna win.
No, it's not a race. And again, it's like, what expectation are you setting, right, for yourself? But whatever it is that you start to become curious about, you're gonna notice more. And that's just the way it is. That's the way the mind is, right? But the narrative that you tell around it, will make massive difference. So it's not necessarily that it's worse, you're feeling worse, you're just noticing how bad things are.
That's what it is. It's not that things are
Yeah,
getting, I love that. It's not that things
yeah.
are getting worse. It's just you're
You're
noticing
you're
more.
no, you're noticing how bad things are. You're noticing people are disrespecting you. You're noticing like, you've actually like befriended people who befriended your trauma. So you don't have good people in your life. And so like you will still feel the rejection whilst I gotta let them go. But I can't let them go because I can't feel the rejection. So that's really like bad than when you didn't know before. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more work when you
It's
know.
more work. But
Yeah.
I would say be encouraged instead of
Yes,
discouraged,
it's
right?
definitely
Because this
like the work.
question, when I read it, it's like it sounds discouraging, but I would say
Yeah,
you actually should be encouraged.
that's where you need to be. That's where you want to be. That's where you need to be. That's where your nervous system needs you to be for healing, right? It's, I always say to my clients, okay, so, like you've been funny all through your life. You would have attracted people who love for you to self-abandon yourself, but you can't let them go yet because you're so scared, and that's okay. That's okay. I do a relationship inventory and I say, so tell me where you place people in your life. Tell me where it feels like, and they can tell, like instinctively, the body isn't placing people close to them, it's placing people all sort of kind of like away from them. But they sort of give so much to this relationship, and that sort of awakening, I said, okay, let's take a deep breath. Nothing has to change. What we're just learning is, perhaps the way you've thought about this relation, you're not going to let them go yet. That's not the goal. It's just for you to understand you're going to have to start meeting your need, and we don't have to rush that. Grief comes in again. The realization that things aren't the way that we I thought that they are, and that things have got to change, and I don't know what that change is going to look like. That's a lot to hold. That's uncertainty.
Yeah, it is. It is, especially because I can remember that moment when I started realizing that the people in my life that weren't the best.
Yeah.
And it was nothing against them at all. I loved
No.
them. It just wasn't a good fit anymore. But
Yeah.
that tearing apart of that is really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like saying like, oh, the foundation of this house is crap.
Yeah.
Gotta tear it apart, right? Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Got first of all bulldoze it, and then we have to create a new foundation. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
like,
funny you
you
use
can
that. Go ahead. I'm
you can
sorry. Go
say
ahead.
like I don't, yeah, you can just say like, oh, I don't wanna, but you're gonna keep having the problem in the house, and you're gonna sort of kind of, or do you want to build a new house? It's gonna be a longer game, it's gonna be more investment. It's your choice.
Because you know what? If you don't fix that house, if you don't replace
Yeah.
it, it's going to fall down anyway. So the
It's gonna
relationship
fall
is going
down.
to end
Yeah.
anyway, and it's
And you
probably going
can't,
to end
yeah.
really ugly.
Yeah. And you can't have a healthy living inside of it.
Yeah. And that's, in the messy middle is part of
Uh-huh.
that loneliness,
Yeah.
when you are
Yeah.
going through that
Yeah.
transition of, okay, well, I
Yeah.
can't quite be friends with these guys anymore, but I don't have
Mm-hmm.
anybody new
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it can feel lonely, but that's
Yeah. Yeah.
another
Yeah.
normal part of our
It's
messy
a
middle.
normal, yeah, absolutely. It's a not like loneliness is a big part of healing from trauma, relational trauma, childhood trauma. Loneliness. Yeah. But it's the story that people tell about the loneliness that can make it worse. Or oftentimes is the narrative that we tell about it. And because of course, we're dealing with wounds of rejection, we're dealing with wounds of abandonment. Inside loneliness, those can be really difficult for some people.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that it's the story that you put with it. And
Yeah.
and I've noticed that with myself about excuse me, 6 months ago, I started
Mm.
thinking, ooh, I'm putting a story to everything. I got to pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to the story that I'm putting on
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some things don't need a story or it's the wrong
Yeah.
story.
It's the wrong story. It's the wrong story. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that's very, very important.
oh, that is so good. So that is why we feel worse sometimes is not
Yeah.
because things are worse, it's
Yeah.
because we're just seeing more. I love that. And so that should also encourage our listeners
Mm-hmm.
that don't be surprised if
Don't
things
be
start to look
disappointed. Don't, yeah. Don't be, don't,
yeah,
yeah. Don't be
and
disheartened. This is what I
yeah,
say to sort of when
actually be
people come.
encouraged.
Yeah, be encouraged. Like people tell me all the time this actually, like, people who I see, like I don't feel like I'm getting better. And then we sort of kind of think what better is, and we explore it and we think about it. When am I going to get better? Yeah. Why do I feel like it's getting worse? I'm noticing things more like, I just want to go back to when I wasn't noticing things. So, yeah.
One of the things that I do when I feel like I am not getting, like, am I
Uh-huh.
really working through this? Like, it doesn't feel like
Uh-huh.
it.
Uh-huh.
I'll go back. It could be 6 months, it could be 3 months,
Yeah.
it could be a year, it could be 5 years,
Yeah.
whatever, and measure how I
Uh-huh.
handled that or how I managed
Uh-huh.
that at
Uh-huh.
that time. So let's just say six
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah.
And if I see, oh, I'm handling it different, there's the growth.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
I know for me, my growth wasn't like like this. It was little, little, little,
It's
little,
very, yeah.
little, little,
Yeah.
little. And you don't see it. It's just like, it's funny. I go see my grandchildren every few months, and to my son, they don't look like they've changed. But to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, because
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in a while. And so they don't see it because they're seeing it every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's the same thing. So that's what I do to kind of give
Yeah.
myself a quick reference. And then it's like, oh, okay, I have grown there.
Yeah.
And be curious
Yeah.
on how I can make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I don't want to be a psychologist because I'm like, oh my God. So much awareness, Tammy. Like, oh gosh, why you overanalyze? I just miss that teenage girl who just, was in fuck it gen mode and just, kind of like everything just fell on top of me. And I just was like, but then like, I'm just like, no, I love having an awareness, and it can be painful, sort of kind of having increased awareness. It can be really painful, but
exhausting.
I see the benefit.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely. So be encouraged. If you feel like it's worse, it's not.
It's not.
It's just you are more aware, and that just gives you more opportunity to work on those areas and get healthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. Dr. Tammy, thank you. That was awesome. That was great. Did this resonate with you, or do you have questions for our experts? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe so that you can get more insights on trauma healing.